The wealthiest people most people will ever meet, they will never know are wealthy. No announcement, no performance, no visible proof. Just quiet systems, compounding in the background, building something most people will spend their entire lives chasing loudly and never catching. This is not a secret. It is a formula, and it has been hiding in plain sight. In this video, the quiet wealth formula gets broken down. 5 principles used by the financially sovereign to build extraordinary wealth without performing it, signaling it, or sacrificing peace to acquire it. These are not theories. They are observable patterns found consistently in people who build real, lasting wealth. From Thomas Stanley's research in the Millionaire Next Door to the behavioral economics of what actually separates net worth from net image. By the end of this video, the full formula will be clear: what to build, what to stop performing, and the one question at the end that changes how the financial decisions of the rest of the week get made. Pay close attention to Principle 4. It is the one most people resist the hardest, and the one that explains why most high earners never actually build wealth. There are 2 worlds of wealth. Most people only ever see one of them. The first world is loud. It is visible, legible, and constantly performing. The car announces the income. The watch signals the status. The vacation documents the lifestyle. Every acquisition is both a purchase and a broadcast. This world is not populated by wealthy people. It is populated by people who spend like wealthy people. The second world is quiet. It operates with no audience, no announcements, no signal to the outside world that anything significant is being built. A study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that truly wealthy individuals, those with genuine high net worth, consistently display fewer status symbols than those with high income but lower net worth. The higher the actual wealth, the quieter the signal. This is not a coincidence. It is a formula. Loud wealth requires money to maintain the performance. Quiet wealth requires discipline to build the system. The formula has 5 principles. Every one of them runs counter to what consumer culture teaches about what success is supposed to look like. Starting with the first, and the one that separates everything that follows. Principle 1 of 5. Wealth is built in private, performed in public by those who don't have it. Core truth: the act of displaying wealth and the act of building it pull in opposite directions. The first principle sounds simple. Its implications are not. Every dollar spent performing wealth is a dollar that does not compound. This is not a moral statement. It is a mathematical one. The person who drives a $90,000 vehicle to signal success has made a choice. They traded $90,000 of deployable capital, which, at 8% annual return over 20 years, would have become over $420,000, for a depreciating asset that loses value every single day they own it. The person who drives a reliable $18,000 vehicle and invests the difference is building something the other person will never see and never be able to catch up to. Thomas Stanley spent decades researching actual millionaires for the Millionaire Next Door. His finding: the majority drove domestic vehicles, lived in modest homes in average neighborhoods, and were virtually invisible as wealthy people. Their neighbors did not know. Their colleagues did not know. Their wealth was entirely private because they were building it, not performing it. The quiet wealth formula begins with a single decision: to stop performing success and start building it. The armored application audit every significant purchase made in the last 12 months. For each one, ask one question: was this purchased because it was needed and valued, or because of what it signals to others? There is no judgment in the answer, only information. The financially armored make this distinction deliberately and redirect the performance budget toward the compounding portfolio. Principle 2 of 5. Silence is a competitive advantage. Core truth. The person who does not announce their financial moves protects them from being disrupted, copied, or undermined. Most people tell people about their financial plans before they execute them. This is one of the most expensive habits in personal finance, and almost no one talks about it. Here is why silence is a competitive advantage. First, social accountability without results. When financial goals are announced publicly, the brain receives a partial reward from the social acknowledgement before any work is done. Research from New York University psychologist Peter Gollwitzer found that people who announce identity-related goals to others are significantly less likely to achieve them because the social response to the announcement simulates the satisfaction of achievement before the achievement is real. Second, unsolicited interference. When wealth-building plans are shared, the investment strategy, the savings target, the business idea, they become subject to the opinions, doubts, and skepticism of people who are not building what is being built. Most of that input is not useful. Much of it is quietly discouraging. None of it accelerates the work. Third, target creation. Visible wealth and visible ambition attract friction. The person who builds quietly does not attract attention, envy, or the social complexity that comes with visible success. The fortress has no visible gate for others to push against. Quiet builders do not discuss what they are building. They build it. Then, if ever, they let the results speak. The Armored application implement a 90-day financial silence protocol. For 90 days, share no financial goals, no investment moves, no income milestones with anyone outside of a trusted accountability partner or spouse. Build in private. Let the silence create the focus. Then assess at 90 days. How much more was accomplished without the noise of external input? Principle 3. Of 5, the gap between income and lifestyle is where wealth lives. Core truth. Wealth is not what is earned. It is the distance between what is earned and what is spent. There is a gap that most people close the moment it opens. The financially sovereign protect it like a fortress wall. Every time income increases, consumer culture, social pressure, and lifestyle creep conspire to close the gap immediately. The raise becomes the new lifestyle floor. The bonus becomes the new baseline experience. The gap closes before the wealth can form. The quiet wealth formula operates on a single mechanical principle: protect the gap at all costs. This does not mean deprivation. It does not mean living below a reasonable standard of comfort. It means that every income increase triggers a pre-committed wealth allocation before lifestyle can absorb it. Concretely, when income rises by $1,000 per month, a minimum of $700 of that increase goes directly to investments before lifestyle sees a single dollar. Lifestyle gets $300 of the raise. Wealth gets $700. The gap widens. The compounding accelerates. Applied consistently over a decade, this single principle produces more wealth than any investment strategy, any market timing, or any financial product ever sold. Because wealth is not what is earned. It is the distance between what is earned and what is spent. And that distance is a choice. The Armored application calculate the current gap. Take monthly after-tax income. Subtract total monthly spending across all categories. The remainder is the current gap. Then set a gap protection target, a minimum percentage of income that must flow into wealth-building vehicles before any lifestyle spending is allocated. Start at 20%. Build to 30%. Then 40%. The gap is the metric. Everything else is noise. Principle 4. Of 5. Approval is the most expensive thing most people buy. Core truth. Most financial decisions are social decisions, made to manage how others perceive the spender, not to meet genuine needs. This is the one. The principle that was flagged at the beginning of this video as the hardest one to accept. Most people are not spending money on things. They are spending money on approval. The car is not purchased for transportation. It is purchased for the feeling of being seen in it. The watch is not bought to tell time. It is bought to tell a story about status. The vacation is not taken for rest. It is taken and documented for social proof of a life well lived. None of this is a character flaw. It is a deeply human behavior pattern, documented extensively in behavioral economics and consumer psychology. The brain is wired for social approval. The approval of the group was historically linked to survival. But in a modern consumer economy, that ancient wiring is expensive, catastrophically expensive. Morgan Housel, in The Psychology of Money, writes that people rarely want to be rich. They want to feel respected and admired, and they use money as the vehicle for that feeling, because modern culture has made wealth the primary currency of social status. The problem is that spending money on approval is the most efficient way to ensure the money never actually builds the wealth that would generate genuine, lasting security. It is approval bought on credit, paid for with compound interest that belongs to the future. The quiet wealth builder has resolved this question differently. The approval sought is internal, from a clear conscience, a growing net worth statement, and the deep quiet of a life not lived for an audience. That approval costs nothing, and it compounds. The armored application. Before every significant purchase, ask one question and answer it honestly. Would this still be purchased if no one would ever see it, know about it, or be told about it? If the answer is no, the purchase is not for the person making it. It is for the audience. That is not a reason to never make it. But it is important information. The financially armored know the difference between spending for genuine value and spending for social signal, and they choose deliberately. Principle 5. Of 5, the quiet life is not a sacrifice. It is the reward. Core truth. The freedom, peace, and options that quiet wealth creates are worth more than any status symbol it forgoes. The loudest objection to the quiet wealth formula is always the same. What is the point of building wealth if the lifestyle does not reflect it? This objection misunderstands what wealth actually provides. Wealth does not provide things, it provides options. The option to leave a job that no longer serves the mission without financial panic. The option to take a year and build something without needing it to succeed immediately. The option to help a family member without it threatening financial stability. The option to say no to a client, an obligation, a compromise, from a position of security rather than need. The option to simply stop, to rest, to be still, without the constant low-grade anxiety of a life financially overextended. None of these options are purchased with a luxury car. None of them are displayed on a watch. None of them appear in a social media post. They are purchased quietly, gradually, over years, with the gap between income and lifestyle, with the silence of building in private, with the discipline of choosing approval from within over approval from without. The quiet life is not a sacrifice made in service of wealth. It is what wealth, built correctly, actually feels like. The house does not need to announce itself. The freedom it represents is already inside. Build in private, perform nothing. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. Protect the gap between income and lifestyle. The gap is where wealth lives. Stop buying approval. It is the most expensive thing most people will ever purchase, and the one that returns the least. The quiet life is not the sacrifice made to build wealth. It is what building wealth correctly actually feels like. The formula is not complicated. It never was. The difficulty is not understanding it. The difficulty is choosing it every day, in a world that is loudly, aggressively, and relentlessly selling something else. Before this video ends, one question. Of the 5 principles, which one is already being lived? And which one is the gap? That gap is the work. Armor your life. Master your realm.